Okay, so we going into a new model, which is managing your own professional development and personal well-being. Well-being has become a very important aspect of working in the health and social care sector, because long before the pandemic and also through the pandemic, we realized that healthcare professionals have been dealing with a lot of challenges and issues. Some are personal, some are family, some are workplace related. Some have to do with finance, some have to do with their own health challenges. And so it has become important to include well-being of healthcare professionals in every aspect of the service provision, so that the people who care for others will also be cared for and also be concerned with their own care, health, safety, and well-being. And that is the purpose of one of the purposes of this unit. And apart from that, there is the need for professionals to develop themselves. Okay, so thank you very much for muting yourself. You are a wise person. Right, so there is a need for professionals to develop themselves professionally in keeping up with changes and current issues and updates in law in relation to practice. So the aim of this unit is to provide all of us with, number one, knowledge, number two, understanding, number three, skill that is required to be able to manage your own workload working in the health and social care sector, whatever your role may be, managerial or deputy manager or any other. And then as well as managing your professional behavior. Now, we've seen a lot of things happen in politics, especially if you live in the UK in recent years, about politicians who occupy public office who are supposed to be professionals, having questionable, character and behavioral issues having to do with the code, ministerial code. So that's what we call the code of ethics, or the code of standards, code of professional ethics. So in healthcare, we also have codes to guide and regulate the way we conduct ourselves, even as we fulfill our responsibilities to the service users that are in our care. And you also be required in this module to develop self-awareness and commitment to continuous development, which is also called CPD. We'll also see how stress and other factors can affect our well-being as we work in looking after other people, and we'll explore strategies that can help us to be able to support our own well-being and health. It's a very interesting unit. We'll be having a lot of discussion. I'm not going to be doing a lot of talking. I will do some talking initially to lay foundation, but then much of it will be discussive. So I encourage every one of us to be ready to share and explore, so that we learn from one another. So may I have Nina, if you will, take us through the learning outcomes that are here on the left, if that is okay. Nina?
Yeah. So from the first one, I have to start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Learning outcome first says that be able to apply self-awareness in own performance in practice. And its assessment criteria is analyze how own values, belief system, and experiences affect own practices, and analyze how you moved it up. Analyze how own emotions affect behaviors and the impact this has on others.
Sorry, Nina. That's my mistake. You taking us through the learning, the assessment criteria, but let's do the learning outcomes first. So I'm just
Okay.
going to increase it a little bit more so that
It's cut. I can't read.
very good.
Yeah. So the learning outcome first says that be able to apply self-awareness in own performance and practice. Second one says be able to undertake and maintain own professional development. Third is be able to demonstrate conduct that reflects professional standards and sector values. Fourth one is be able to manage own workload and responsibilities effectively. Fifth one says understand the importance of and how to maintain own well-being.
Very good. And number 6.
And next one is understand how to manage own stress and anxiety.
Nina, the sixth one, please.
Understand how to manage own stress and anxiety.
Okay. So we have, thank you very much, Nina, and well done for taking us through the learning outcomes. Now, we have 6 learning outcomes. One good thing about this unit is that you are going to do less writing. You know, students like to hear that one. So you know that they are happy to know that they are not going to do a lot of writing of
Hello?
Sorry, I think I got locked out.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to share again. Thank you. Sorry. So like I was saying, the good thing about this model is that you're not going to do a lot of writing. There is less writing. You have quite a number of observable assessment criteria, which we would need to observe and write our observation reports to cover your achievement of that particular criteria. So I will quickly highlight the ones that you will be writing on, the ones that will be observed as we go through. So thank you very much, Nina, for doing the reading for us. Shall we please go to Sindhu, if you would like to take us through assessment criteria 1.1 to 1.4, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Well, you want me to read the learner can, yeah?
Yes.
First one is analyze how own values, belief system, and experiences affect own practices. And then analyze how own emotions affect behavior and the impact this has on others. And third one, use feedback and reflective practice to increase own self-awarenesses and review how stress and anxiety may affect own reaction and behavior towards others.
Thank you very much, Sindhu. So the first 4 questions and assessment criteria have to do with yourself and how you work at a place of work, and how your values, your belief system, and your experiences affect your work and other people at the place of work. And then the second one has to do with what we call emotional intelligence. EI, emotional intelligence, means the ability to manage effectively your personal life and try to separate experiences of your personal life which are negative, which not negative per se, which have the potential to affect your professional life, how to be able to manage it effectively so that it does not affect your professional life and practice negatively. So that's emotional intelligence. That's what this question relates to. Analyze how your own emotions affect your behavior at work and how that affects or impacts on other people at the place of work. And the other people at the place of work, maybe the service users, maybe your colleagues, maybe your superiors, and the people that you work with. And that it's also a very interesting aspect when we begin to talk about it. The third one is using feedback from others. There is what we call 360-degree feedback. We're going to look at it, how you can receive feedback from different people and how that feedback helps you to reflect on your practice, to be able to increase your self-awareness, to see what are you doing well, what are you not doing well, what can you improve upon, what are you not doing very well, so that is very important. Now, the good thing about this module is that it doesn't only help you with your course, it helps you in your personal life, it helps you also in your family life and in your work. So I will encourage everyone to really connect with it very well, because you will gain beyond just the course. Right. Thank you very much. Let's go to Lalita. If Lalita is here. Lalita,
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, Lalita. How was Diwali?
Good, very good.
Wonderful. All right. So please take us through assessment criteria 2.1 and 2.2.
Okay, 2.1. Evaluate own knowledge and performance against standards and benchmarks.
Good.
2.2. Okay.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
You want me to go on?
Yes, please.
Okay. 2.2. Produce and implement a personal development plan that identifies own professional development needs and aspirations, prioritize own professional development needs and aspirations with clear objectives, identifies a range of opportunities that meet objectives and reflect own learning style.
Good. Thank you very much. So what Lalita took us through, the second one, which is 2.1, we will be doing an evaluation of our own knowledge, how much we know, and our performance in terms of our practice against standards and benchmark. Standards and benchmark relate to the standards that we are supposed to be working to, the requirements, the expectations, which also include not only that which is covered in your job description, but also the codes of conduct. Okay, and then 2.2, this is a work product is supposed to produce and implement a personal development plan. So we will be devising or drawing up a personal development plan each that is tailored to your person and your practice. And the personal development plan should cover 3 areas. Number 1, it should identify your professional development needs and aspirations. What does that mean? Are there any gaps in your professional development? Are there any areas that you need to develop professionally in relation to skill and competence to match with your job role? You would identify those. And your aspirations. Aspirations are the things that you aspire to do. So where do you see yourself? Where are you now? In 3 years' time, where do you want to be? Okay, so maybe you're a deputy manager now of a care home. In 3 years' time, where do you aspire to be? Maybe I want to become a manager. So you put all of those things in your personal development plan and put action points on how do I rise from where I am to where I need to be. It's the same thing we do for our children. And when we do skills analysis for people who work under us as well, if you are a supervisor or a manager, is the same thing. So here you'll be doing it for yourself. The second area it covers is your priorities, prioritizing your own professional development needs, making it an area of priority and aspiration with clear objectives. So it should be done with a short-term, medium-term, and long-term objectives and goals in view. Then it becomes very clear with a mindset of prioritization. Then the third area is identify a range of opportunities. So this is like a form of a SWOT analysis, range of opportunities that meet objectives and reflect on your own learning style. So we'll also be talking about your own learning style, relating it to the opportunities and how they meet objectives. So we'll be going more into all of that. What we're doing now is just looking at the questions we'll be dealing with and clarifying the areas we'll be learning. Right, thank you. Let's go to Reverend Dr. Richard. Could you please take us through 2.3 to 2.5? Richard may be muted. Okay, if Richard is not available now, I will take that. Establish a process to evaluate the effectiveness of your own professional development plan. So the development plan that we are putting up here, the personal development plan we are putting up here, we want to see how we evaluate the effectiveness. How are we putting it into practice? How are we implementing it? And how effective is it? And how is it not effective? What can we do differently? Okay. 2.4, create and engage with opportunities for others to provide feedback on your own personal performance, across all aspects of your role. So this is where this very one, you don't write anything. We observe you at the place of work and see how you are able to use opportunities, create opportunities for people to give you feedback. Some people don't like taking feedback because they think it's criticism. But feedback is very important. We all need feedback. It helps us to see how we are doing and see what we are doing well, what we are not doing well, and what we need to improve. And so that also is an observable criteria. 2.5, evaluate your own practice. Evaluate how your own practice has been improved. So this is an evaluation reflectively through reflection on feedback from others. So how do you use feedback to improve your performance and your practice? Number 2, through learning from adverse events. So incidents and accidents that happen in your work. How does that teach you? How do you learn from it? What do we learn from it? How do we make good use of those? Then we also see how we improve through successes. So if I did something well, I performed very well, it's an area that I have to keep up, have to maintain. So how do I learn from the successes and use them as stepping stones for greater successes and achievements as well? Excuse me. Implementation of professional development plan. And so you also make an evaluation of how we improve by implementing the professional development plan that we have created. People make plans, but they don't implement them. It's just like making a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. People are very good in making resolutions. Oh, okay, the first quarter, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be doing this on a daily basis. The first 6 months of the year, I'm going to do this. And then the month gets going, and then the storms start coming, the floods start coming, the winds start blowing, different things start happening in our personal life, family life, work, everything. And then before you realize, people even forget about the resolutions they have made, and they are not able to follow them through. That is what we link this to. Your personal development plan, professional development plan. How do you implement it? And how does the implementation of it bring about improvement in your practice as a healthcare professional? So, assessment criterion 3.1, ensure your own actions reflect a high standard of personal integrity. It's an observable criterion. You don't have to write anything there. We'll just observe you at a place of work or in a role play setting, whichever is suitable for you. Adapt actions and behavior in response to feedback. This one, you don't write anything, is observable. We see how you use feedback to change your behavior, to do things differently for improvement. Adapt communication in response to emotional context and communication styles of others. How you use, how an awareness of people's service users and their families' communication style helps you to be able to adapt your communication to suit their communication styles and communication needs. For example, if a service user has hearing impairment and uses hearing aid, such service users, sometimes when you are talking to them, you don't talk to them in a normal tone like the way I'm doing. They expect you to speak a little louder beyond the normal for them to hear. There are other things you could do. You draw a little closer to them while being aware of infection control measures, in a way, having your gloves on, your apron on because of contact, but a little closeness helps you to hear them when they communicate to you, and also helps them to hear you when you communicate to them. But all of these depend on knowing what their communication styles are and being able to respond appropriately in communicating to them. Because if you don't get to know what the service user or the patient or the clients or the individual's needs are, preferences and wishes are, and those are communicated to you by the service user, if they are responsive, and you need to hear, and you also need to communicate back to them, right? Excuse me. Right, 3.4, ensure your own words and actions reinforce the vision and values of the service and the sector that you work in. That's the health and social care sector. So our words and our actions, how we match them to the requirements and expectations of our work. Use strategies and tools to identify. So 3.4, you don't write anything. It's an observable criteria. So you see, in this model, you're not going to do a lot of writing, you know. It's an easy one for you. Use strategies and tools to identify priorities for work. Here also, you don't write anything. So we just observe you. For example, if you are to give a personal care to a service user, we'll observe to see what strategies and what tools you identify and use to be able to provide personal care to the service user. So maybe you are supposed to clean a service user, give them maybe assisted wash and dress, or bath and dress them after. Want to see how are you going to do your self-assessment of the situation? What things are you going to get ready if you are going to get the service user to the bathroom and give them an assisted bath? Or what tools are you going to use? Want to see how you are able to, part of self-awareness, and how you also professionally prepare and plan and put the plan into action. So we just observe, and then we write our observation report, and that covers that criteria. 4.2, plan ways to meet responsibilities, organizational priorities while maintaining your own well-being. It's also observable. You don't write anything. 4.3, use digital technology to enhance your own and others' efficiency. We see how you use digital technology, maybe recording the service that you provided for a service user using, e-noting or any electronic device to record it. We just observe that in relation to your workplace protocols and policy. Facilitate. So here also you don't write anything. We observe. Facilitate the development of others to enable effective delegation. You see how you are able to maximize delegation in relation to people you manage. Delegate responsibilities to others while taking into account their competence, experience, and current workload. Observable, we observe this in the work environment. Devise plans to take account to changing circumstances. This is also observable, but I may require you to write something there to see how you would do it. Plan strategies and support mechanisms to assess when workload is difficult to manage. This would also require a writing of your plans, writing it out. So for learning outcome 5, you are going to do this way. You're going to do much of the writing. Okay. Describe what is meant by personal well-being, self-care, and resilience. Very simple terminologies. What is personal well-being? We're going to talk about them though. What is self-care? So these are definitions you are describing, and put some examples in there. Resilience. Okay. And then 5.2, describe factors that positively and negatively influence your own well-being. So basically, what does not promote your well-being and what promotes your well-being? For example, if you sleep well or you have maximum hours of sleep required of you as an adult, it's one of the factors that positively influence or affect your well-being. So I've just given you one answer there. It's one of the factors. So sleep is one of the factors. Stress is one of the factors that negatively influence our well-being. So stress comes from different factors. We'll be looking at that. So I'm just trying to explain how you approach that question. 5.3, describe indicators of own well-being and well-being deterioration. What he's saying here is that what are the factors? Indicators are the factors. You can also use the medical term symptoms. What things do you see that show that you are not promoting your well-being? And what other things show that your well-being is deteriorating? When we talk about well-being general, we're looking at your health and general, holistically, your health. So your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health. Okay. If all these are not together, you can't perform well as a professional at a place of work. You will make a lot of mistakes. There will be a lot of incidents and accidents as a result of your performance, because your emotions and your mindset and your physical, everything is not together. So you will be disconnected, disorientated. You will have a lot of anxiety at a place of work. You can't perform well. Your manager will end up telling you, no, we think you are not feeling very well today, so go home. So what factors, what are the indicators that our well-being is deteriorating? Those are the things that I'll be looking at there. 5.4, examine the impact of personal well-being. How does your well-being affect your own role at work and your behavior? And how does that affect other people's role at work? Okay. 5. So all of these we are writing. 5.5, you are writing, evaluate strategies to maintain and improve your well-being. These are very simple and straightforward, very practical questions as well. So you make an evaluation of strategies. So what can I do to maintain and improve my well-being? Sleep well. Eliminate stresses, things that stress us. Eliminate them, disconnect from them. When you are stressed, we also look at stress management strategies. How do you manage stress? Some people like to listen to music when they are stressed. It helps them gradually just forget about a thing that is stressing them. Some people just like to take a shower. Some people just like to eat. Some people like to work out, go to the gym. Some people want to go out. Some people just want to sleep. And once they sleep, then they sleep off the challenge and the problem, the thing that is stressing them out. They wake up, they are refreshed. So those are some of the strategies. We'll look at them more into detail. Review. 5.6, review a range of physical and mental well-being support offers. So I was telling you that well-being has to do with the general care of yourself. So you're talking about your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being. This question says, review a range of physical and mental well-being support offers available and how to access them. What it means simply is that what are the things that you can do that are available to maintain your physical well-being? So one of them is a gym. There are gyms around. So you register with a gym and then you take opportunities to, exercise. It helps your physical well-being. Some people go to see their doctor or their nurse and they tell you need to do a lot of walking, a lot of jogging. You need to do this, you need to do this. These are things, they are strategies they are suggesting to us to maintain our well-being. Sometimes they will tell you cut down on your carbs, that's your carbohydrates. It will help with your physical well-being. The mental well-being as well. One of the things that was affecting a lot of people's mental well-being when this Russia-Ukraine war started was the news. Watching how the attacks were going and people's lives were being destroyed and the structures, property was being destroyed. People used to watch them. I used to watch the news as well. At a point, I saw that it was really affecting me because it's just sad. It stresses you to see human life destroyed like that. And initially how it started, how families were being displaced, and they have to be traveling to different places, and the men have to stay and fight in the battle. Some will die in the battle. That's somebody's father. That's somebody's husband. That is somebody's son staying behind in the war, and they go and they die. So looking at all of these things, and so one thing people started doing, and I also did that, was to try to disconnect from watching the news. Much of that, it's the same as what was happening during the pandemic and the deaths in the UK and elsewhere. This number of deaths and was putting a lot of fear and stress and tension and pressure on many people's mental well-being. So this question, I'm just trying to break it down, is what are the range of physical things? What can you do to improve your mental well-being? What support systems are there, and how do you access them? Okay. 5.7, explain how to access professional help if needed. So for example, if someone is having anxiety problems, how can they receive professional help for anxiety related things? You know, anxiety is a form of mental health. Anxiety is the commonest form of mental health. And everybody has, every human being has some measure of mental health challenge. Because if you get anxious, it means anxiety is mental health. So if you get anxious, it means you have some level. So there are levels of severity. So how do you easily get help in relation to anything that impacts on your well-being? This is what this question is. So explain what is meant by stress and anxiety. So these are definitions. What do you mean by stress? And you give examples. And what is anxiety? You give examples. Very simple questions. 6.2, describe factors that can trigger your own stress and anxiety. Here, I would like everyone, when you come here, I would like everyone to be able to share. So we learn from each other. Different things trigger different people's stress and anxiety. 6.3, describe indicators of stress and anxiety in yourself. What shows that you are stressed? And when you are stressed, what happens? What are some of the signs of stress and anxiety? And then see how interesting this model is. 6.4, discuss strategies that could be used to help manage your own stress. Oh, I love this part. It's one of my favorites when I teach on stress management. So strategies that could be used to help manage your own stress and anxiety. I've talked about some of them already. And then the last question we would be looking at will be explain how to access a range of support offers that are available. So here we talked about explain how to access if needed, and here explain how to access a range of support offers that are available. So this is what this unit is about. Any question before we proceed from there?
No, it's so far so good for me.
Very good. Thank you, Nina. Yes. Any other response?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you, these are you going to send it to the email, these whatever, these question templates?
Yes, it will be sent to you by Mansi. Mansi has responded to my distance, so that will be sent to you. The resources for this unit will be sent to you
okay.
By tomorrow.
Okay, when will be this assessment deadline, and then, you know, how many words?
Very good question. Very good question, Sindhu. So
because I recently joined with you, so I don't have any idea.
Oh, okay. Yes. So what happens is, very good question, Ivas. Thank you. What happens is there are two things we give you. What we do is, like I'm doing now, what I'm doing first in this, the first thing we are doing here is to explain the learning outcomes and the assessment criteria, which this unit is based on. The reason why it's a good approach to start the unit that way is that so when we begin to learn and teach on the topic, you are taking note of the areas where you need to focus on more in terms of when it comes to answering the question. Answering the question is the last thing that I like my students to take from my lessons. There are two other things, knowledge and understanding, that bring the skill development. And with these three, you are able to easily answer the questions. So
Okay.
I like to encourage my students to not make the questions the priority, because my lessons give you more than the academic side, because you have practical life things that will also stay with you in the place of work as well. So what we do, Sindhu, is you will receive an assignment brief.
Okay.
So the assignment brief will have all these questions and everything that has to do with the questions that need to be answered. Those
Okay.
questions that you need to write, the assignment brief will indicate them. Those that you don't need to write, the assignment brief
Okay.
will indicate it, and how you are supposed to do your assignment.
All
So that's the
right.
first thing you receive, assignment brief. The second thing you receive is called the assignment template. On the
Okay.
assignment template, only the questions you need to write will be on the
Mhm.
assignment template.
Okay.
And then I've also given examples of the points you can use to answer your questions, and a breakdown of the question so that everyone easily understands and answers them. So you do your assignment on the assignment template. So we make it very easy and straightforward. And you will receive all of these from Mansi.
Okay. Thank
Is
you.
that
That's great.
okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
No. I got good idea. I got.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
see that you're a very serious student. A serious student. Thank you. Right. Is there any other question? If there's no question, let me explain some other areas that we have covered. Now, in explaining the questions, I spoke about one of the questions. We're talking about others. You see a lot of others, how your emotions affect others at the place of work. So in this context, when we talk about others, we are talking about your team members, the people who work with you. We are talking about in your team. We are talking about your colleagues. We are talking about the families of the service users or the individuals or the clients. We are talking about the carers who care for the clients. And the carers, maybe their neighbors, their friends, their family. Okay. Carers are different from care workers. A carer is someone who is looking after somebody, but is not being paid. And those of you who have parents, or those of us who have parents, and our parents sometimes help take our children to school and go and pick them up from school. The parents, so the children's grandparents, they are the carers. They are providing care and support, but they are not being paid for it. They are doing it in the capacity of relationship, okay, as grandparents, or your mother or your father or your auntie or your uncle. Sometimes friends and neighbors can just provide care, and support even for you when you are unwell. They come and take you to the hospital, or they call the ambulance. It's part of care. They are providing care. So that's a carer. They are not being paid for doing. They are doing voluntarily because of the relationship. A care worker is someone who is providing that same work or that same service and is being paid for it. So we call them care workers. So please take note of this difference. So carers also come into the category of others, and then other professionals. So when we talk about other professionals, we have internal professionals and external professionals. So there are other professionals, other people who work within the setting, also in relation to the service user or the client or the individual. And then there are external professionals, like the social worker is an external professional, the dentist is an external professional, the pharmacist is an external professional, and the district nurse who also looks after the service user, they are external professionals. They all come under the others. The question we're talking about is, how does your emotion at the place of work? So if you're in a good mood, how does it affect them because you are working with them? If you're in a very bad mood and your mood is affecting your work, how does it affect the people who work with you as well? All of these others. Okay. Any question?
No. Good. Okay.
All right. Another thing that I need to explain is standards. We talk about following the standards. There is one particular question in Learning Outcome 2. Okay, it's over here. Here, 2.1. Evaluate your own knowledge and performance against standards and benchmarks. So if you don't understand what standard means, you can't answer this question. Okay, and that's why I'm taking time to explain this. So when we talk about standards, these are some of the things that we refer to. The standards include the code of practice or code of professional ethics of your place of work. The code of ethics is what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, where the boundary is. We all know that, I'm just going to give one political example for those who live in the UK that you can relate to it. One of the ministerial codes, which we will call the standards for anyone who is a minister of state, okay, is that you don't use your personal email to send a communication, because everything that you are sending is professional, safeguarded, security. And so there was one minister, I'm just relating this to it, not that I have any ill wish against the minister. I'm just trying to explain it so we all understand, okay? We use the personal email to send a professional email. So that is a breach of the code of conduct or practice. In the same way, as a healthcare professional, you have a code of conduct to play according to, make sure you function within the jurisdiction of the code of conduct. The nurses and midwives have their code of conduct. The doctors have it. The GPs, they all come under it. Teachers have code of conduct. And all healthcare professionals, we also have our code of conduct. And so in your place of work, you would have been given that when you are given your job description, and your contract may come under it, and you should know and make sure you abide by it. It's important. So it forms part of the standards. Then another one is regulations. So regulations relate to what the law is saying and what the regulation is saying. So what you are allowed to do, what you are not allowed to do. Most of the time, the workplace policy is based on the legislation and the regulation. Two things. The policy, every policy of every workplace is based on two things: the legislation, that is the law of the land, and the regulation. So the policy, the workplace will form the policy out of the law. For example, equality policy, it's based on the Equality Act. Okay, confidentiality policy is based on that regulation. Data protection policy is based on the law. So the regulations, that is the policies and the procedures of your workplace, the fundamental standards, National Occupational Standards, National Institute for Health, that's nice, guidance, quality standards. If we are talking about health and social care, these will relate to Care Quality Commission standards. And the workplace policies and procedures emerge from this. Okay, so when you're answering that question, please keep that in mind. We're talking about opportunities, a range of opportunities. There's another question that we look at. 2 points. Somebody is not muted. Can the host
Nana, you are not
muted for us, please? Thank you. Right. Thank you, Lalita. What was I? Okay, I was going to talk about range of opportunities. Yes. I hope you are making notes of these things I'm explaining, because some of these explanations, you will not find them in the lesson PowerPoint. So if you hear me say something that is important, please, or of interest, just write it down as part of your own notes. So this is where we talk about the range of opportunities. It comes here: produce and implement a personal development plan. We're going to take a break after this one, and then we'll come and I'll teach. Produce and implement a personal development plan, which identifies, I'm just going to this one, a range of opportunities that meet objectives and reflects your own learning style. Take note of this, don't forget. A personal development plan that identifies a range of opportunities. So I'm going to explain the range of opportunities. That is why I came there, to make sure it is clear what we are talking about. So the range of opportunities relate to this, but it's not limited only to this. It includes formal and informal support. So how can you receive, how can formal support or informal support create opportunities of reflection and improvement for you? Then how can your supervision, appraisal, mentoring, peer support create that opportunity of reflection and improvement for you? Opportunities within and outside your organization, because sometimes your friends can also, give you relevant feedback. Different types of learning and ways to achieve self-led and self-directed learning opportunities. So these are some of the things you can relate to, right? Okay, so shall we take a break for, okay, let me cover these as well. Let's just finish with all of these. Adverse event. I talk about accidents and incidents at the place of work. So there is something that happened. It may happen as a result of a mistake. It could be your mistake. It could also not be your mistake, but you were there when it happened. And every adverse event is a learning opportunity. So this happened, and so that happened. So next time I will make sure I don't do it this way, or I don't do this. Okay. So it's an incident or a disruption with associated risks that could lead to unexpected preventable harm to others. And the harm could be to service users, to your colleagues, or even to yourself, or to the families of the service users in the place of work. So the question we're looking at there is 2.5. Okay. This is a question
Evaluate.
that we relate that to. Evaluate how your own practice has been improved through learning from adverse events. Successes and achievements. Yeah. So how do you use things that happen to us, even things that happen in our personal lives, in our family life, at home, we learn from them. Maybe you're preparing food and something happened and, sorry, this was a mistake. So next time you are preparing food, you make sure you safeguard around that. So it's a learning experience. So that's basically what the question is referring to. Now, the reason why I take time to explain these things is that a good understanding of the question is half the question answered. A question you don't understand, you will struggle answering it. But once you understand the question from the onset, it becomes very easy to answer it once you are approaching it. All right, so let's take a break for 10 minutes and let's come back and I will teach. When we come back, I will teach. I will leave this to next week. Yeah. So see you in 10 minutes. Please don't leave the call. Just mute yourself and see you in 10 minutes. Thank you.
अरे अभी झाड़ू लगाइए फ्रेश अभी झाड़ू लगाइए
Hey boy.
हेलो, अरे अभी ब्रेक हुआ है क्या? अच्छा। वो अचानक से पीछे बच्चे और जतिन चिल्लाने लग गए थे और मुझे पता ही नहीं कि म्यूट नहीं था। हाँ, नहीं अब तो म्यूट होना है। अरे रुको भाई। तो उसमें तो बहुत शुगर होती है यार, इतना आर्टिफिशियल फ्लेवर शुगर।
Hello. Are we all back?
Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful for some people to have a tea break.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Right. It's Florence back now. All right. So we are going straight into teaching now.
Okay, thank you.
Right. I'm going to share my screen. Right. So we are talking about managing your own development. We've looked at the learning outcomes, and what do you understand by personal development? Yes, anyone can speak, please. What do you understand by personal development?
Developing
does person-
yourself, to manage yourself without, any other issues. Training yourself and get up to date with all the information for the industry.
Developing yourself, managing yourself.
Yep. Your own
Building up
well-being.
Sorry, go on, please.
Developing your own well-being,
Developing
being
your
able to
well-being.
apply your self-awareness.
Self-awareness is very important in
Yeah.
personal development. Very, very true. Self-awareness also helps us to know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what we are doing well, what we are not doing well, where we need to take a break, reflect, replenish, refresh.
How it to contribute your professionalism at your work.
Sorry, again, Sindhu.
How to improve your professionalism at your work, including personal wise and professionally also you have to develop.
That is true, personally and professionally as well. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sindhu. Very good contributions there. So when you see these, yes, Richard.
Yeah, so in terms of personal development, we're talking about self-improvement that consists of activities that is directed towards a person's development in terms of a person's capacity and potential. And
great words there. Capacity, potential, yes.
And to sort of facilitate your employability and enhance the quality of your life.
Wow. Yes. So make yourself employable in terms of skills, not only qualification, but skills and competencies and experience as well.
Yeah.
And then you are also talking about quality of life, which is also very important. Yes. So
we are spending our valuable and quantitative time at our workplace most of the time.
Did you say qualitative time?
Yeah, my time always quality.
It's very important. And sometimes people can get caught up with work to the extent that they forget to look after themselves. Do you agree with that? No,
not at all. You should take your break in time. You should have a drink and eat proper time. That I could say shortly, like a time management. It is very important to develop your personal. It includes your personal development. Time management.
Absolutely, that is what it's supposed to be. But sometimes, like I said, some people don't do that.
Yeah,
and that is why these courses were developed also to address those areas of professional practice.
Yeah, some of them sitting in front of the computer, eating food, drinking, doing work. There is no mentally relaxation on your break. You're still working.
That is it. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So personal development is a lifelong process. It continues throughout the rest of our lives. No one can say, I've finished developing myself, so I'm not going to develop myself. No, that person will stop living, will stop being relevant, because the world is changing. The way things are in the world now, decades ago, that's not where they were. Look at increased use of technology for almost everything in relation to work. And so it's a lifelong, continuous throughout our life. It's a way to assess your own personal skills, like part of what Sindhu and Richard have shared, to assess your personal skills. Which skills do I have? Which skills do I need? We have some skills today to work in the health and social care sector, but we need some other skills And for some of us, that's one of the reasons why we are enrolled on this course. Okay. So skills and qualities. And the personal development also considers your aim in life. What is my aim in life? Why am I here? What am I doing here? Am I just here to eat and drink and sleep, watch television, wake up and repeat the same process? No, that's not why we are here. So the place of personal development helps us to question ourselves, our intentions, our motives, our aim, our goal, our aspirations in life. And that helps us to relate it to our family life, our professional life, our career. We'll look at it in terms of our children as well, in different areas of our lives. You know, it also helps us to set goals. So from that questioning of our aim, it helps us to set goals. I met a cancer patient last week in the hospital, and we were having conversation around how she feels. One of the things most cancer patients will tell you is that it helps you to realize the most important things in life and reorganize and reprioritize. You see? So personal development, and sometimes we keep going until we get stuck at a point.
Sorry, Chris.
Yes.
In terms of that, it's quite an interesting point. Could you elaborate that a little bit? What do you mean by helps them to prioritize the most important? Why did they say that? And I mean, what do they mean by that?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. A good question. So part of my job role is I look after cancer patients in one of the cancer centers in London. And so I visit and have conversations with them, look at their diagnosis and look at their prognosis and talk to how they apply these two to their practical life in terms of the reality. And then the prescribed treatment that has been given to them by the consultant, the doctor, or the oncologist. So, and some of them have been told you have 3 years to live medically. Okay, that's also part of the work of medical professionals on the basis of diagnosis, the prognosis, the treatment, the lifespan of the treatment, and thinking about the possibilities of whatever the impact of it. It differs from person to person. So different people have different. So somebody can have pancreatic cancer, 2 different people, but they may have 2 different prognoses because they have, our body makeup is different from one person to the other. Another person may have breast cancer. 2 people may have breast cancer, and they may have different prognoses. Not only in relation to the makeup of their body, the genetic factors, but also sometimes how their body responds to the treatment that they've been given, if it's chemotherapy or radiotherapy or whatever they are taking. So, and there was this particular name withheld for confidentiality purposes, patient who was talking about the fact that, yeah, I've been told I have this number of years to die, to live to that before I die. And my dad had cancer. And the time that he died, we were young. And now I'm thinking about my children, how long I'm going to be with them before I die, things like that. So for some of these patients, it helps them to prioritize the things that they should give the greatest time and attention and priority to in their lives. Because sometimes you can get carried by other things in life that we don't give attention to the most important things. But sometimes it takes an event, like we're talking about an adverse event, to bring us back to ourselves. Hey, I nearly got off track. I have to come back, you know. So I don't know if that clarifies the point. So personal development helps us in these ways as well. That's why I'm saying you're welcome. I'm saying that this model helps you beyond just academic purposes. It helps in your personal life as well, and family life and career. It also helps us to reflect on our own learning, performance, and achievements. in order to realize and maximize our potential, a word that was used by Richard, to maximize our potential. There are a lot of things some of us can do, but we are not doing those. But it takes personal development to bring us to that point and say, no, I can get this qualification. I can get this qualification. I can start this business. I can do that job. I can apply for that job. I can do this. It helps us because we have a lot of capability and ability. Okay, so it helps us to see the whole person, what you can do with your life. And most times, I'm going to get into trouble saying this, but I hope you understand me. And that's why I'm happy for our ladies who are on this course. Because sometimes some ladies, I'm very careful with the use of words. I say sometimes, some ladies think, and sometimes it's also because of how some men, not men generally, some men make some women and some ladies think. And I'm very happy for the ladies who are taking on this course, because sometimes some ladies think their role is just to look after the children. No, you have more abilities, you have more capabilities, you have greater potentials. And sometimes women can do better than some men when placed in the same position, in the same role. Okay, so sometimes it takes personal development to bring us to that point of realizing our potential and what we can do. Let's go through this. Richard, are you able to take us through this? Benefits of personal development.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the benefits of personal development. First point, personal. Increases your confidence in your own identity.
Yes.
Competencies, attributes, aims, and aspirations. Personal development in terms of academics, it enables you to focus on what you are learning, how you learn best, and how to improve on your achievements.
Yeah.
On the social perspective, personal development also builds awareness of the needs of other individuals / groups and the importance of different relationship and team roles. Yeah. Then professionally, it helps you to be more strategic in developing skills for employability.
Very good. Thank you very much. And that last point relates to your contribution, talking about employability.
Yeah.
So employability has to do with the skills that employers are looking for. Employers are looking for different things. One, they're looking for qualification, but now they have gone beyond just qualification, because people have qualification and they don't have the competence and they don't have the experience. So employers are going beyond just looking at the qualification. So they may ask for your CV, all right, because your CV details your qualifications and sometimes your experience, and everybody can put anything on their CV. So employers are going beyond just what is evidenced on the paper. They want to see skills, qualities, attributes, and that's one of the reasons why they invite you to an interview. And I was saying it the other day, when you are invited to an interview, sometimes, depends on the place, the interview starts before you go to the boardroom to meet the panel. They begin to observe you and take note of you from the time that you report to the place of interview. They observe you, how you come, your manners. They observe your dress sense. They observe whether you are early or you are late and you are rushing, sweaty. And there is someone who is just sitting behind the CCTV, monitoring and observing you, taking your interview without you knowing it. We are talking about employability skills. So sometimes the time that you appear before the panel is just some percentage of the interview. Much of the interview has been done already even before you appear for them, because of what each employer is looking for in the person they want to employ. And sometimes the reason why they want to see you is they want to see some skills. They want to see some attributes They want to see patience. They want different things they want to see. So the professional part there, which helps us to be more strategic in developing skills for employment or employability skills, very, very important. And basically, that is also what this module relates to. So you see, it thinks and talks about the whole person. The personal is there, academic is there, social is there, and professional. And it's again the same way we look at our well-being. Any question or contribution, please, before we proceed?
Yeah, Chris, I just want to highlight, or just add a bit to what you said.
Okay.
When it comes to, like you said, job interviews, most of the times we tend to think it's about, going to sit with a panel and sort of displaying or articulate your knowledge and skills just to let them know how good you are. But it goes beyond that. If I take my workplace, for instance, if we want to employ a teacher, when they come for interview, they have to come and meet the science team, and we will interact with them just to see how they get on with the team, their manners
with them.
Yes, how flexible they are, how they are able to bond with everyone within that split of the second.
I think you are breaking.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Chris, can you hear me now? Hello, Chris.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah,
so,
we can hear. I can hear you.
Yeah, so I was saying that what happens is that you are not just taken straight away to the interview room. You'll be brought to the science team, and each member of staff will sort of have some kind of interaction with you, and everyone will be trying to, see how they bond well with you.
Something out of you.
That's it. If there are 5 candidates who are coming for the interview, and we need just one person or 2 people, we as managers will speak to the team and then ask them, which of these guys did you really get along with? Which of them, did you feel the vibe for? So your ability to integrate with unknown people is also key to the interview.
It counts a lot.
It counts a lot. I mean, one time I went for head of department position in a school, and I didn't get the job. Do you know why I didn't get it?
No.
It was because there was a member of staff, and it was part of the interview process. That member of staff, that member of staff, Chris, interrogated me. We were having a chat, and I was, expressing myself and talking about some ideas, and he didn't particularly like it.
And that was part of the interview.
That's part of it, but I didn't know that.
To tease out something from you.
Exactly, I didn't know that. So I think it's a big
thank you
point
for sharing this with us.
Yeah, it's a big point you mentioned there. So thank you for that.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing, because this is very insightful. Yeah. So the next thing to look at is professional development, continuous professional development, we call it. What do you understand by CPD or continuous professional development? Anybody? Just share what you think. There is no wrong answer in my class. Just share with us what you think. So we've talked about personal development. Here we're talking about professional development, which is continuous. Yes. Anybody? So
it's okay.
Anyone talking? Right. So professional development, as the name suggests, is related to your work, your job role, anything that takes you from where you are to updating yourself, being current, being relevant, not outdated, so that if they are looking for one person who is current and relevant to the times, you are the one they will talk to, you are the one they will think about first. There's a process of tracking and documenting the skills and the knowledge and the experience. Please take note of all of these. The skill, the knowledge, and the experience that are gained, that are accumulated, that are collected, both formally and informally through work. So some people acquire this on the job. So through work and beyond the initial training for the job. Okay. Don't forget these three are important. They are key when we talk about continuing professional development, CPD. The skill, the knowledge, and the experience. These three are very important. And it's one of the reasons why we do work experience. And it's one of the reasons why the UK government is focusing more now on work experience and apprenticeships, because the apprenticeships provide work experience opportunities through which skills and knowledge can be combined with the acquisition of experience on the job.
I think it's help you manage your own learning and growth on your pathway of your career.
Absolutely. Yes, it helps you manage your own learning. It is very, very important. And to link to that point you made, Sindhu, a lot of people are undertaking a lot of CPD online.
Yes, CPD courses, yes.
Online. And that was the essence of the Open University. Anyone here who has engaged with Open University when it first started? Now a lot of
what was that?
The Open University. When it first started. And now a lot of big, from the time of the pandemic, a lot of institutions and universities and colleges and schools are engaging in what we are doing now, online lessons, and people are taking courses online, developing themselves, getting qualifications online, which before was not the case, because you have to go through the traditional way of learning, sit in the classroom to be taught, sit in the lecture theater to be taught by the professors, the lecturers, and all of that. But the world has changed, and it will continue to change.
Yes.
Okay. So CPD is also a record of what is experienced, what is learned, and what is applied. And that is why on your CV, they will ask for your experience or work experience, because it is relevant. So whatever you've learned before 10 years ago is still relevant because it's part of you. Whatever you learned 20 years ago is part of you. It's part of what has made you who you are today. And that record is also very important. The benefits of CPD. Lalita, are you able to take us through this, please?
Sure. Benefits of CPD to you. Manage your own learning and growth.
Yes.
Develop your skills and knowledge.
Yes.
Build confidence and credibility. Earn more money by showcasing achievements. Achieve your career goals by focusing on training and development. Cope positively with change by constantly updating your skill set. Be more productive and efficient by reflecting on learning and highlighting gaps in knowledge and experience.
Very good. Thank you very much. So clear. And so these are some of the benefits of CPD. So those who don't participate in CPD, any form of learning, are losing a lot of grounds. It's very important. And that's why sometimes some organizations have training sessions and they have study days. And it's important to engage with those. Sometimes they enroll you on an online course, training course. Go for it. Don't just try to get a certificate. No, go through the learning, get the information. And that's part of what we are doing here. The information we are sharing here and the experiences you are all bringing in are helpful for us. It is helping us acquire some skills, because it is said that when you stand on the shoulders of a tall man, a giant, you can see farther than that giant can see. And that's what experience shared helps us to acquire and gain. And that's why I like to give opportunities for people to share what they want to share. For example, like what Richard has shared, it's helpful for all of us when we find ourselves in such a position. So what Lalita just read for us is the benefit of CPD to you as an individual for your own growth, your own personal development and professional development. Now let's look at the benefit of CPD to your workplace, to your organization, to your setting, be it in the healthcare sector, for those of you who work there or aspire to work there, or those of you who are working in different related work environments. Shall we have Sindhu?
Yes.
Please, could you take us through this? Thank you.
CPD helps your organization by helping to maximize staff potential by linking learning to actions and theory to practice, helping employees to set smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound objectives. Linking training activities to business needs. The fourth point, promoting staff development, leading to better staff morale and motivation, and helps give a positive image brand to the other organizations. Adding value helps staff to consciously apply learning to their role and the organization's development. Linking to appraisals, CPD is a good tool to help employees identify their achievements throughout the year, improving learning and other skills over time.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you see that the CPD or the continuing professional development is very helpful for the organization. So organizations that do not engage their staff in training are losing out big time. Some of them may be outdated in their skill and knowledge and experience because they are not current, or they may not be current. There's one helpful one here. It's helpful for employees to set smart objectives for the organization and for their staff as well, and also for the services they provide to the service users. There's another one here. All of them are very important. Look at this. Promoting staff development, leading to better staff morale and staff motivation. Because there are some staff who just like to learn. And so if you don't provide such opportunities, they are getting bereft of, relevant improvements and maximization of potential opportunities. Right. Any question or contribution? Self-reflection is an important part of this model. Nina, are you available to take us through this, please? Self-reflection is an important part of this model, and there are a number of questions that relate to that. Sometimes
I can get through. I can read it through. Josephine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
Josephine.
Hello, Josephine.
I've been here. Why you missed me today?
Oh, I didn't see your name. You see,
okay. Actually, it's under my company name. Sorry. Yeah.
It's shown as Team HC. So I didn't. Yeah. I was wondering actually, just that I didn't say it. That's voice just.
No, sorry. Yeah, I've been here from the start.
To hear your voice. Thank you. Yes, please take us through self-reflection.
Okay, self-reflection. Okay, for each of the following areas is personal, educational, career development. Ask yourself, how well am I doing? What are my strengths? What could I do better? What activities will help me towards my goals?
Good. Thank you. You see how we miss your voice here, Josephine.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yes, so just as Josephine has read, for our personal lives, all these questions apply. How am I doing in my personal life? This is not something you are doing with somebody. No, you just sit down and just reflect. How am I doing in my personal life? Do I have time for myself? In relation to well-being, do I rest enough? Do I get worried and over-worried? Do I get stressed? Am I taking one day at a time? What are the things that are bothering me? Who is stressing me? What is stressing me? How can I de-stress? How can I eliminate stress? How can I avoid stress? How can I manage my stress effectively? Personal, it's very important. You see, the reason is that, like some of the things I was sharing, if you don't do this, if we don't do this, a time will come we might find ourselves between 3 curtains of a cubicle in the hospital, as I see every day. And that is where people are trying to reflect on their lives, because all throughout their lives, they are busy work, money, project meetings, or different things. They don't have time for themselves until the body begins to say, look, you are overworking me. I need rest. Because this body is made up of different organs. The brain is there. Sometimes we put a lot of stress on it. And so some of us begin to feel a lot of migraine, a lot of those things. It's part of the pressure and the stress and all of those things, anxiety. Then we have the heart, from where blood is pumped to the brain and different parts of the body. And sometimes we put too much pressure on the heart. And so medically it's called hypertension. We know already. Okay, it's because the heart is overworking itself because somebody said something you didn't like. Someone did something you didn't like. Somebody didn't do something that they were supposed to do. Okay, and so you took offense. We all go through it. And it's affecting different parts of our bodies, but it's putting pressure on the heart. And the heart is overworking. So sometimes we get upset. And it affects our emotion. That emotion, we shouldn't take it to work. That's emotional intelligence I was talking about earlier on. This self-reflection. Because if we take that ill, negative emotion to work, we are going to release it on everybody else. It will be reflected on everybody else. And it will affect our work and the work of others in the work environment. And especially if you're a manager, all the people who work under you will pay for whatever is happening with your emotions. So emotional intelligence requires that whatever is happening at home before I go to work, by the time I get to the door of my workplace, I should leave all those negative emotions there and carry out a positive emotion, positive energy, joy, happiness into that workplace, into that office, into that place that I work. So that whatever was happening before I set off for work does not lead to work. So I don't allow my personal life to negatively impact on my professional life. That's emotional intelligence. And the same relates to our educational life. What am I doing educationally, academically, career-wise? What are my strengths in that? What could I do better? What activities will help towards my goals? And so it's very important to come to this point. But in the UK, people are very busy, do not have time. This brings us to a form of an area of well-being. We are all familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which actually starts from the bottom. So it's like a pyramid, but the bottom part is the most important, upon which we build every other thing. So we all have these needs, our physiological needs, our safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Most of the time we set off in life thinking about this one first. Self-actualization. I want to become this. I want to achieve this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to start this business, start that business, have business here, have business there. I want to have this bank account. I want to have this. I want to marry this person. I want to live here with my children. I want to have this number of children. Self-actualization, different things we want to achieve, which gives air to sometimes our personality, our dreams, and our visions. But all of these will build upon this, which is why we are talking about well-being. So our physiological needs relate to food, the food that we eat, And in this country, people are so busy that they don't even have time for their food. Some people eat food in a hurry. They don't have time because they are thinking about the next call, the next meeting, the next project. They don't have time for their food. I learned something. I've worked and worked with some directors who are broadly, let me say, Asians. And one of the things that I learned from them, it comes from their culture and faith and beliefs, is that you need to honor your food. You need to honor your food. And what I understood by that is that you have to make time for your food. The time to eat is not the time to work at the same time. It's not a time to be doing something at the same time. Give that time solely, completely to the food.
Wow.
The food.
Wow.
Thank you, Richard. But people are so busy this time around that the most basic physiological need, they don't have time for it. And a lot of people just want to be eating on the go because they think whatever they are going to do is more important than the food. No, it is the food that is going to sustain this body to be healthy and strong and carry us to do whatever we need to do. So, friends, brothers and sisters, students, let's make time for food. Water is important. One of the things that helps us avoid kidney problem is water. Some people don't drink water. They drink a lot of fruit juice. I'm not saying fruit juice is bad, though. Water is needed naturally for us. And that is one of the reasons why water is free for much of the time. Please drink a lot of water. I'm giving some health advice here for free. It is part of our physiological need. If you can cut down on the amount of fruit juice you drink because of the sugar content and drink more water, you'll be doing more good to your liver, your kidney. Your kidney. It's very, very important. So please drink a lot of water. It's one of the things we need. Then sleep. That one, I'm also a victim. Some of us don't sleep maximally, including myself, because sometimes we put a lot of projects and program and burden on ourselves and sometimes our work they requires it, and the things that we have placed our hands in require it. But it's important to sleep. Generally, we are supposed to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep required for the body to refresh, to be recycled, and to function well. The reason is that our brain, our heart, our lungs, our kidney, and our liver, all of these need to be refreshed on a daily basis. The time that we go to sleep, digestion has a role to play there. This body gets back to form and to shape. If we are given minimal time to sleep, which is part of our physiological need, we are gradually destroying this body, including myself. I'm saying we because it's for me also. So you realize that if you deprive your body of the amount of sleep that it requires, it will begin to tell on your body. Exhaustion, sleepiness, and sometimes headaches are part of it, and they affect the body in different ways as well. But please, sleep is very important for all of us. Breathing and health, all of these feed from the first three we are talking about. Okay, then safety, security of our body, employment. Why employment? Because income has to come, money. Okay, from which we also get a shelter and all the others, because you have to pay the bills, isn't it? And resources, morality, family, property, health, they form under our safety needs. And it's very, very important. Then love and belonging. So there are times people have this one, number 2, But then they need these as well. Number 3, friendship, family, social interaction, intimacy, and affection. Everybody wants to feel loved, want to feel belonged, want to feel cared for. It's very important. Then the esteem needs self-esteem, confidence, respect, to be respected by others. These are very important. And then on the top of that pyramid is passion, what our passions are, where we engage our creativity, morality, problem solving, the things that make us feel that we have achieved, we are fulfilled, that we have reached our goals. They are at the top here. But it is the first one that gives grounds to all these others. And so for our well-being, these things at the bottom here are very, very, very important. Any question or contribution, please?
Chris, I'm going to drink water right now.
Please drink a lot of water. So I was drinking a bottle of water from the beginning.
It's a motivation class too.
Sorry?
It's a motivation class too.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much. So
we are enjoying free motivation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You get more than just the academics from my lessons. Yes, and it's helpful when we all share together. So this is very important. That is very, very important. Let's encourage our children to drink more water as well. Okay. There are a lot of times, a lot of people have a lot of cancer patients that I see. Some will tell you, no, I've never smoked, I've never drank alcohol. I don't know how come I got cancer. You know, there are different types of cancer. We have what we call blood cancer. You know of that, right? Bone marrow cancer. Different types of cancer. We have throat cancer, cancer of the lung, and different types. This thing helps flush our bodies. This thing called water. It's very good, though. So please drink a lot of it. Let's go on. Right. Good. Is Florence refreshed? Can she take us through? If not, I'll go back.
I've been waiting for me, sir. You didn't call me. I'm just
yeah, welcome back, because I was told you were traveling.
I'm not right. I'm just about to board my flight.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. We wish you a safe journey.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So are you able to read, or you are engaged now?
No, I'm in a queue about to climb.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It's good to hear your voice. So I'll go back to Josephine. Okay. So Josephine, if you are happy to take us through this.
No problem.
Thank you.
In order to be truly motivated, some progressive needs must be satisfied. Each level needs to be met before moving to the next.
That's it. That's according to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So each level needs to be met.
The pyramid. Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Was this psychologically? Is it?
Yeah, physiological.
Physiologically, sorry.
Yes.
Physiological, the need for sleep and sustenance.
Good.
The second one is security and safety. The need for a place to live, a secure environment, and freedom for hostility.
Good.
Love, the need to be accepted by colleagues, friends, and loved ones.
Yes.
Esteem, the need for self-belief, self-confidence, and self-esteem. And last one is self-actualization. If all the above are met, the individual will be motivated to achieve self-actualization. This is the point at which the person arrives at his or her set goal, and where he or she begins to feel fulfilled, successful, and truly motivated.
Excellent. Wow, you have read so well. Yeah, you could do well with the BBC News.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So it's at this point that we feel fulfilled, successful, and truly motivated. Can I say something in conclusion? Can I say something in conclusion? Sometimes when we don't give much attention to this, yeah, the time that we should be feeling these fulfilled, successful. I'm saying it because I see it every week in the hospital. Okay, I see it in a private hospital, and I see it within the NHS. People are here. The time that they feel they should be here is they spend it at the hospital, very sadly. And for some people, they are not able to reverse it. They are not able to go back home. Very sadly. I'm saying this with a lot of pain and sadness. For some people, they are not able to make it back from the hospital to their house, because this has been neglected in pursuit of this. So please, let this lesson help us beyond our academics. Let's have time for food. Or I used to work as a support worker back in the day, 2005. And I was studying at the same time as an international student. And so you have limited hours to work, and you have to study, and you have family, then you have ministry, different things that are going on, charity in the local community. And I could be running from place to place without food. From place to place without food. Little sleep. And it goes on like that until I came to my senses. Now I make time for sleep, even though not as much as I should have. But this one, I give it a lot of attention, food. And this one, we have to eat a lot of balanced diets. That's why I like the Asian dishes. A lot of veggies in there, light, the lentils. Our African food, Brother Richard, it's very, very heavy.
I know.
Few greens. We have to make sure we have to make sure we have a lot of greens in there, in every meal. Now I'm giving a lot of attention to this. This is very, very important. Balanced diet. Because there are different things that affect the body when we don't have a lot of, the 5 a day. It's very important. So please, much as we pursue this, let's have time for this, because all of these build upon this. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any contribution or question? If not, I'm going to ask a question and then we end today's lesson. Now, we know that we have not been able to resolve Thursday. Reverend Dr. Richard, are you still engaged on Thursdays?
Yes, sir. Thursdays, it's very tight because I've got students I teach science, you see, and I try to move it, but it won't work.
Not at any time?
It's because
later?
after the lesson, then I've got church service.
Okay.
Unless we want to move it to 10:30.
I know that may not favor some people. if they were living in different regions, yes, like Dubai and India, yeah.
Still Dubai and India, it will be early morning. It will be 2 a.m.
Oh, it will be early morning.
Yeah.
Oh, early morning will do for Dubai. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 hours. I think
5.5 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I see.
So what is happening is that the Wednesday is crucial for me because my service starts at 7 o'clock actually. So last week I've had to sacrifice my 7 to 8, but from next month my 7 to 8:30 service would not allow us to have the Wednesday session, which is a 1 hour session. So
why can't we do 6 to 7 if possible, Wednesdays? If
6 to
everyone is
7, I'll be
okay.
traveling.
Oh, you're
Because,
traveling. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
on Wednesday I finish in the hospital at 5 o'clock, and then
Mhm.
I need about 1.5 hours to get home.
Mhm.
You know, that's peak time. So